Before we begin, if you love real, raw stories about love, betrayal, and self-discovery, please subscribe to the channel. And when this story is over, share your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. That single selfie blew apart my marriage before I could even finish blinking. It arrived at 10:11 p.m. with a casual caption, "Work ran late." Her smile looked practiced, sharp enough to cut. A flicker of dread made me zoom in. The reflection behind her wasn't an office. Steam-hazed white tile. A glass shower door split the image. Inside it stood a man beneath running water, bare shoulders turned away. His wrist faced the camera. I recognized the watch instantly. Brushed steel, green face, the kind you buy with a quarterly bonus. I had seen it when he shook my hand at the company picnic and spoke kindly over a microphone while blessing our marriage. Her boss. The bathroom fan hummed somewhere in the distance as certainty drained through me. I saved the image, shut off my phone, and sat in the dark. Betrayal doesn't usually shout. It murmurs softly, then waits until you listen long enough to understand that everything you believed was safe has already slipped beyond repair. Quietly, permanently, without warning. I didn't confront her. Panic destroys evidence. Instead, I watched. Phones turned face down. Meetings multiplied. Credit cards spoke in whispers. Hotels labeled "conference" told their own story. One night, while she slept, I synced her tablet. Messages surfaced like old bruises coming back to life. He dangled promotions, threatened layoffs, scheduled mandatory trips. This wasn't romance. It was leverage. I took screenshots, logged timestamps, archived everything, and breathed. Dates formed patterns. Fear explained her distance far better than love ever had. I stopped asking why she chose him and started asking how truth survives exposure. I planned exits, not explosions. By the time she kissed me goodbye each morning, I was already several moves ahead. Practicing calm turned my anger into focus. When you realize betrayal is built into a system, you stop yelling at people and start dismantling structures, slowly, carefully, until collapse becomes inevitable and no one can pretend they didn't see it coming. Everything had to be documented. Legal. Public. Permanent. I sent the photo from a burner account to one person, his wife. No explanation. Just one word, recognize? By the next morning, downtown erupted. Human resources locked floors. Attorneys paced hallways. My wife's boss vanished. That night, she came home shaking, asking what I knew. I said nothing. By Friday, investigators uncovered hidden travel budgets, forced transfers, and complaints buried through reassignment. Women came forward. Receipts spoke louder than anyone. My wife begged me to protect her. I told her the truth had momentum now. It doesn't ask permission. Watching gravity return felt unreal, like standing still while a tower slowly leaned. I wasn't satisfied. I wasn't cruel. I was calm. Consequences don't need rage. They need time and friction. Both were finally in abundance. And the fall began, quietly, legally, permanently, across boardrooms and courtrooms, marriages and careers, reputations and futures, pensions and friendships, myths and excuses, protections and illusions. Then the shock reversed direction. Detectives asked for my wife, not him. She wasn't arrested, but she was questioned that night. She confessed through tears, saying fear felt safer than honesty. Weeks later, he was indicted for coercion, fraud, and obstruction. His wife filed publicly. The company cooperated loudly. I expected relief. I felt empty. During mediation, my attorney uncovered something unexpected. Months earlier, my wife had quietly transferred her company shares to me, afraid of retaliation. Legally, every tool he used to control her already belonged to me. His power had expired before exposure. Justice hadn't arrived suddenly. It had been waiting, prepared, patient. Betrayal had accidentally positioned me to dismantle the cage without ever touching the bars, while preserving evidence, dignity, leverage, safety, timelines, accountability, restraint, balance, and peace. The verdict landed clean. He pleaded guilty. Sentencing was public and severe. My wife testified under immunity, voice steady, eyes empty. I filed for divorce without speeches or apologies. Friends called me strong. I felt finished. Then another surprise surfaced. Investigators suspected I engineered the leak for personal gain. I was subpoenaed. During deposition, I told the truth. I wasn't the first to send the photo. His wife was. She recognized the watch, traced the hotels, and contacted authorities. My message arrived later and changed nothing. The accusation collapsed immediately. Justice corrected itself again. Truth doesn't need ownership. It needs alignment. Systems work when facts outweigh fear. I walked out lighter, realizing vindication can be quiet, procedural, devastating to lies, without raised voices. Just evidence, timelines, audits, subpoenas, standards, patience, and precision. Rebuilding followed lessons I learned late. Therapy replaced interrogation. Mornings replaced dread. Silence became peace. One evening, a letter arrived from prison. He asked, "Was it worth it?" I didn't respond. I donated the settlement anonymously to a workplace abuse fund. Weeks later, an investigator thanked an unnamed source whose early documentation protected victims. That source was me. I hadn't planned courage. I planned survival. Survival grew into responsibility. I stopped replaying the selfie. I stopped zooming mirrors. Healing wasn't forgetting, it was releasing vigilance. The past loosened its grip. The future steadied. My phone buzzed without fear. Sleep deepened. Laughter returned. I trusted myself again. Certainty isn't the absence of doubt. It's the courage to act when doubt finally speaks clearly, calmly, ethically, deliberately, lawfully, and without cruelty. The ending hit hardest because it whispered. At a cafe one afternoon, a woman approached and introduced herself as his ex-wife. She thanked me, then corrected me. "You didn't start it," she said. "You proved it." A hotel manager had flagged suspicious patterns months earlier. Reports were already moving through channels. I wasn't the trigger. I was confirmation. That truth settled clean. My marriage ended. A predator fell. Others escaped. Justice belonged to alignment, not heroes. Endings don't roar. They rebalance. I walked home lighter, trusting gravity again. Someday, when another selfie arrived, I smiled and kept living. The mirror no longer frightened me. It reminded me that seeing clearly, even once, can redirect countless lives without applause, without revenge, and without losing yourself to fear, silence, or the shadows that thrive on them.